Hi, and welcome to today's SharePoint tutorial. Today I'm going to talk about SharePoint's new feature in 2016 and above, and it's called Durable Links. One of the common problems we have in SharePoint is when you create a file and you upload a file, you might then share that file to somebody in an email, or they may bookmark it, and it becomes a problem because later if you try to rename that file or move that file to a different folder, their link is now broken. So one of the ways we would get around that is we would tell people always go to SharePoint and find the file there. Don't rely on those links and those bookmarks. But thankfully with SharePoint 2016, they came up with a new feature called Durable Links. And in order for Durable Links to work, the first thing you need to do is you need to set up Durable Links, enabling the document ID service. So the first thing we're going to do is we're going to go look under Site Settings to enable the document ID service. And under Site Settings, you're going to see a section where it should say Site Collection Administration. Now, if you don't see this, that means you're not the Site Collection Administrator, so you'll need to have the Site Collection Administrator do this. When they go into Site Collection Administration, you're going to scroll down into the Site Collection and you're going to look for something called Site Collection Features. So you can see it right here. And this is the screen of Site Collection Features that can be enabled or disabled for an entire site collection. And if you scroll up and down, we're going to look for one called the Document ID Service. So you can see they're listed here in an alphabetical order. So we went down to the W's. Let's go back up. And we're going to look for the one called Document ID Service. And we're going to see a button. And that button, if it's not enabled, is going to have the button Activate. But you can see in this case I already have it activated. But if not, you would hit the button Activate and that would enable the Document ID Service. So that then allows us to use this feature of Durable Links. Now that we've enabled the Document ID service, let's take an example of where we have some files here in a folder in SharePoint. And I want to take a look at one of these folders in particular. And let's look now, after I've uploaded it, what the URL, what that link looks like. And if we go right to the very end of the link, you'll see it's a little bit different than what you might have noticed in earlier versions of SharePoint. It has this weird ID at the end, and it says redirect ID and a big number. So now when you send that link out to somebody, regardless of where in the site collection that document is located, regardless if it's been moved, it's always going to have that same ID. And just to prove that, I'm going to show you an example. I'm going to create a new folder, and I'm going to take that file and I'm going to move that into that new folder. And that's a nice new feature of SharePoint as well, that you can actually just drag and drop into the new folder, and that will just automatically move it to that folder. Isn't that neat? So again, in previous versions of SharePoint, if you had done something like this, now everybody who had a link to that folder, now that link is not going to work. But what you can see is that ID, that link is now exactly the same. It has not changed. So somebody who has that link will still continue to work. Now, one of the limitations is this only applies to the site collection. So you might have 20 sites in a site collection, and you could move that folder around to any one of those 20 sites, that file. You can move that file around to any one of those 20 sites, and it will still continue to work properly. One thing to keep in mind is if you had two different site collections, so if you had one site collection for your projects and another site collection for organization type sites, if you moved it across site collections, then that's not going to work. It is going to get a new document ID when it moves to that service. And if you don't have that document ID service enabled, it's going to work like the old-fashioned SharePoint. So it's definitely a nice new feature of SharePoint 2016 and above. It's called Durable Links. Thank you for taking your time to listen to this little tutorial. I hope you found it valuable.
Geek Wisdom.